Don't panic. I know this looks like a troll pick, but hear me out. Yeah, I can already hear you panicking because in the champ, select Volibears was banned and I was thinking, what should I play? What should I play? Well, as I was scrolling through champions, my eyes fell on Tahm Kench and I thought, why not? So here we are, with a video on how I first timed this champion because my main was banned. Right off the bat, let me tell you, this is a horrible pick for the jungle. While this game turned out to be fun, this pick is supremely bad. First of all, your clear time is awful, and your ganking potential is totally skill-reliant. My early Ganak felt like pure luck, because with Tahm Kench in the jungle, you're relying on a series of conditional abilities. Land your CC, then follow up with the slow, then hit them with your tongue. That's a whole lot of ifs to make anything work. So we started doing what we do best. I tried for a full clear, but the clear time was so bad I abandoned my camps and went straight for the bot lane Fiesta. And just like Nightblue in his videos where he picks some weird off-meta jungle pick, I camped bot lane, managed to snag some kills too, which was as surprising to me as it is to you right now. Now, a little history about Tahm Kench jungle. Back in an ancient season, this pick might have had some potential because Tahm used to deal a lot of damage with his passive and his pre-rework chomp on monsters. But after the rework, let's be honest, this is a trash pick. But we picked it, so we've got to make it work. Since my clear time was garbage, I opted for Sunfire Cape. Unfortunately, with the changes, that item is just also horrible. I won't be building it again. Honestly, Titanic Hydra would have been a better choice for clearing, or maybe even full ability power since your dive scales with AP, and you can do an extra 300 damage easily when maxed. But still, to make matters worse, we were playing against a team with Morgana and Xayah, along with Zeri. So, yeah, this game was anything but easy. As I mentioned earlier, yes, I panicked. And because of that panic, we found ourselves in some very awkward situations. To top it off, I was relying on our mid laner to play well. And while he did, his ego got in the way. So we decided to abandon that lane and shift our focus elsewhere, trying to make new friendships with our beloved Rel. And yes, I can already hear you saying, why didn't you take Hail Blades for runes? Well, here's the thing. Whenever you're first timing a champion, don't complicate things by doing a million different random things at once. You need to evaluate the situation first. Is the pick itself good without specialized runes? If so, then stick with the regular runes. Once you're comfortable, then figure out what the better runes are. Don't reverse it by saying, oh, these runes worked on some random video, and start playing random champions, losing random games because you blindly follow. The second thing is, after you decide the pick is solid, you need to ensure your team isn't tilted by the pick. In this case, we're playing Tahm Kench, and maybe your teammates think it's a troll pick unless you really know what you're doing, which, in this case, I clearly didn't. I mean, what do I know about Tahm Kench? I've probably played Jungle Tahm like 50 times, and that was 6 years ago when he could snatch buffs and devour them with his tongue. But for this game, there's one reason I picked Tahm Kench: to tilt the enemy team. Nothing more, nothing less. Could I have picked something more familiar and better suited? Absolutely. But sometimes you just have to wing it. Be a big chunk of meat walking around, licking the enemy team here and there. Speaking of which, since you're still watching, make sure to lick that subscribe button and wipe the like button while you're at it to keep your screen clean. Now, as I'm trying to understand this champion more, I realized a couple of things. 1. You don't need the green pet. Might as well go with the blue pet for faster jungle clears. Second approach. Velocity would have been a much better rune than what I initially took. I went with the standard setup because I wasn't sure what to do. But after playing, I realized that once you land your slow, the extra movement speed from approach velocity would have been way more useful. 3. This pick works decently well against mage compositions. Why? Because mages don't have many items to deal with shields outside of abilities. If you get tanky enough, you'll be a nightmare to kill. And lastly, let's talk about the cherry on top. Tahm Kench's ultimate is very underrated. Imagine this scenario. Someone gets caught, 2 ultimates are blown to secure the kill, and then you just eat them and run away. Flash wasted, ultimates wasted, all down the drain because of one ability. But let's be clear, it's not just one ability. You forsook all other champions just to play this one useless toad because it has game-changing potential and venomous-inducing tilt capabilities. Now, before you ask about other off-meta picks like Taric Jungle or Kaylee, those are topics for another day when I feel even more hopeless after Volibear banned. But for now, we're using the frog to fill the bear's shoes or paws. Well, you might notice that this Xayah player isn't bad at all, actually spacing and playing well. Regardless of the situation or the damage taken, it's well played, but we're still facing another issue. I can't help but think that if I had gone with Frozen Gauntlet, this game would have been a lot easier. The extra slow paired with approach velocity would have made me so sticky, you could call it harassment. Imagine not being able to get rid of me. I'm still there, not going anywhere, and you're getting swallowed into my belly. That's the end of the story. There was also a moment where I tried to pull off some crazy play, eating Poppy while she's trying to ult me. Spoiler alert, that's harder than it sounds. If I could pull that off, I'd be dragging her along with me, but maybe I'll save that for another game. Anyway, in this situation, we're struggling with miscommunication. Our ADC is hoping for the best, our mid laner is trying to act like Faker, and the rest of us are just dying for the cause or throwing it straight into the enemy's lap. We are slowly losing, and it's painfully clear why. Everyone is too stubborn to adjust. Mid-game, it started out fine. We grouped and secured some objectives. But now it's like herding cats. Nobody wants to adapt. Our support isn't playing to their strengths, holding back critical abilities. A DC, saving their ult for some perfect moment that never comes. Mid laner, still trying to 1v9 while the rest of us are bleeding out. And don't even get me started on warding. It's crazy how in Plat and Emerald people just refuse to place wards in key areas. Vision control, non-existent. We had some great moments, but now we're crumbling because nobody's willing to communicate or adjust. But wait, it's not all doom and gloom, because I've got a secret technique. Kalista's broken ability to secure objectives is an ace up my sleeve. Specifically, I'm talking about sneaking the Baron. Now, when I mentioned this, you probably knew exactly what I meant. Playing against Kalista, it's a nightmare trying to outsmite her. It's like she's 9,000 spear deep in the Baron. It feels downright impossible. So I told the team, forget these useless dragon fights. Let's group up and focus on securing Baron. And what happens next? Morgana jungle. Yes, Morgana jungle outsmarts us, and we lose the Baron. That play? Heartbreaking. It left me shattered, and I was this close to flaming my ADC. I didn't even care about the numbers or why it failed. I just couldn't believe this was my reality. I picked Tom Kench jungle, and now Riot is punishing me with this disaster. But hey, the game isn't over. We're still trying to make it work. And even though we've lost Baron with Twist Plot, I believe the enemy team has had their fair share of stupid too. They're getting cocky with Baron, and we just need to use that confidence against them. Our only strategy left, play to our advantage, be patient, and most importantly, don't give up. By now, if you're not tilted, well, I am supremely tilted. It feels like no matter what I do, we're still on the losing end. But then, in the most desperate situations, something ridiculous happens. The enemy team, completely clueless, walks right into an unwarded bush and boom, face full of saliva, followed by some insane burst, and suddenly, we're back in the game. How ironic. Is it that these moments keep us alive, right? You'd think being ahead means you've won, but in reality, you're never truly safe until you see your LP added. Or better, refunded. Because even with a lead, your team could throw it all away, dragging everyone into a collective surrender. This match, it's a textbook case of mid-game chaos. Wukong is shredding my armor like it's nothing, dishing out way too much damage for me to handle, while their Morgana just keeps negating every single slow and chunk of damage I try to throw out. I still can't wrap my head around the new League of Legends mentality. It is just off, and the only thing that matters is grouping these days. While the rest of us are left scrambling in these team fights, the enemy team is base racing. And let's talk about tanks for a second. There was a time when playing a tank meant you could windall, stand firm, soak up damage, and carry with your sheer willpower. But now, tanks fall off so hard, especially late game against hyper carries. No matter how much I absorb damage, apply CC, or try to save my teammates, it feels like I'm just delaying the inevitable. You might think I just crushed that play, but let me be real with you. If that guy had even a fraction of the ninja spirit he thinks he has, we'd both be alive, and they'd be dead. I gave him a shield, tried to save him, and what does he do? Blows it, then probably flames me in chat. I wouldn't know because I muted him. Classic. But yeah, he got blasted, and so did I. From now on, I'm done helping this dead weight. If he's so sure of his skills, let him show us how it's done without my help. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to make Mean a proper engage. But I'm not foolish enough to force fights that are doomed from the start. Thankfully, we've got our top laner Sam trying to make plays and create some value for the team. But earlier we were relying on Badar carry to secure Baron, and you know what happened? Yes, disaster. I'm the jungler, it's me or no one, so I was dead set on being the one to secure it. Fully aware it's still 50-50, but in my mind, the only thing I'm seeing, you have slain Baron Nashor. We might all die afterward, but at least I'll walk away with that buff, and somehow, With all the chaos, bad map pressure, and zero team coordination, we actually managed to secure that Baron. It feels ridiculously good because, as you know, once you hit the super late games, anywhere after 40 minutes, everyone's got the two-shot ability on. It's like anyone can kill anyone, and the fact we've even managed to stay in this game is beyond reason. We've died a ton, collected a lot of assists, and despite all that, this champion pick is still viable. Honestly, I think it might even be more valuable than Volibear. If I'd gotten a slight lead early on and made a better build, maybe Cosmic Drive, Frozen Gauntlet, Force of Nature, Navori, this would have been an entirely different game. With that setup, I'd be out there smacking people with my tongue left and right. I'd be the frog from the fairy tale. But in this version, if you kiss me, I am not turning into a prince. You're turning into another frog. That's how terrifying my presence would have been in this game. And you guessed it right. This is the last play of the game. We secured Baron, snagged Elder Drake, and stacked up 71 health from Heartsteel. Honestly, that's a huge letdown, because we got this item way too late in the game, didn't farm enough camps, and didn't rack up kills, just assists. In the future, if I ever make the mistakes of picking this useless champ in the jungle again, it won't be with Heartsteel, and for sure I'll focus on farming at least, so it doesn't look this pathetic side in the late game. But despite all that, I actually had a lot of fun. The pick has potential, just needs the right runes, a better build, and should only be used against specific comps, maybe against a team full of assassins or something. I might try it again if Volibear gets banned, who knows. As always, thank you for watching. Sorry if your screen is coated with a slimy saliva. That's just what this champion does best. Lick people and eat trash. Until next time, take care and peace.